بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
So this verse, we said it can be referring to the one who gives his sadaqah like with riya, showing off. So it's referring to the one, he's this guy. Right? The one who does riya, this is an example of what his state will be. The other example, the example could be pertaining to the one who does man and other, the one who mentions his favors and also injures others. The next verse, Allah Ta'ala says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَنفِقُوا مِنْ طَيِّبَاتِ مَا كَسَبْتُمْ وَمِمَّا أَخْرَجْنَا لَكُم مِّنَ الْأَرْضِ وَلَا تَيَمَّمُوا الْخَبِيثَ مِنْهُ تُنْفِقُونَ وَلَسْتُمْ بِآخِذِيهِ إِلَّا أَن تُغْمِضُوا فِيهِ وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ. O believers, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, O you who believe, أَنفِقُوا مِنْ طَيِّبَاتِ مَا كَسَبْتُمْ. Spend. أنفقوا is to spend. Min tayyibat, from the good, ma kasabatum, of what you have earned. Wa mimma akhrajna lakum min al-ard, and from that which we have brought forth for you from the earth. So that which you have earned is what? Your earnings, financial earnings, right? And this could be anything you earn through your labor or an effort. And wa mimma akhrajna lakum min al-ard, that which we have produced for you from the earth. So this is your agriculture, grains, and so on. So here Allah Ta'ala commands the believers to give from the good. Now the question is, what does tayyibat refer to? It can refer to one of two possible meanings. The meaning that is more apparent is that tayyibat meaning the halal. Tayyib, the hadith says, Inna Allah tayyibun la yaqbalu illa tayyiba. Allah is good and He doesn't accept that which is good. So give from your wealth that which is halal. Because you can't give sadaqah what is haram. And subhanAllah, sometimes you see really, some surprising donations at times. You hear stories, you're like, wow, how does a person give that type of wealth in sadaqah, right? So the sadaqah has to be from halal, that is wealth that is halal. How about a person has wealth that is haram? What do they do with it? They dispose of it, but it's not sadaqah. They get rewarded for tawbah. So let's say a person made a lifetime earning, or they made an earning gambling, working at a casino, selling alcohol, whatever. Right? Some artist who does haram, repented, accepted Islam, and they're trying to, go about differentiating what part of their wealth was haram and what's, I don't know. Right? They want to dispose of haram wealth. They dispose of that by giving it. Yes. But their giving isn't a sadaqah for them. Their giving is the tawbah. Their giving is their tawbah. And their tawbah is great in reward. But we don't count it as sadaqah. Sadaqah has to be halal. Allah is tayyib. He doesn't accept illa tayyib. He only accepts what? Tayyib. That which is pure, that which is halal. So here the verse is commanding us, give from your wealth which is halal, Isn't there,
when a person becomes Muslim, isn't all their wealth become halal, regardless of how they made it?
When a person becomes Muslim, that all their wealth become halal regardless of how they made it? Is that something you've read, or have you just assumed, or you were informed?
I don't remember, actually. That's a good question. I've heard it so long ago that I don't know where I learned it.
Yeah, that's something we can say for another time. Because I don't want to get into the fiqh right now, We can save that. Well, if a person repents, how about a new Muslim converts to Islam? Somebody was, working at a casino, or they, subhanAllah, something clear. They had a beer, they're making beer, they're a beer manufacturer, or prostitute, or something, like clear haram, right? Clearly haram earnings is one. Then you have ambiguous, mixed wealth, which is another. So there's a lot to be discussed. But we're saying generally, repenting from haram wealth you don't give. You give it, but it's not sadaqah. And where you give it to is also a matter. Do you give it to like masajid and things? Scholars say no. You give it to like common projects such as like building roads and general services, not things that are like spiritual, used for the worship of Allah. Food, you don't use it for food. Certain things, there's a scholarly discussion about how do you dispose of that wealth and where do you dispose of it, and how much of it do you dispose and so on, and the state of the one who's disposing their wealth, how does all that work, right? There's a lot of fiqh. My advice to somebody repenting is go see a scholar, a qualified scholar that has deep understanding of Sharia and will do his research. And then go through that guidance and then deal with that in a way that is, sound and balanced. So that's the one. Halal. Tayyib means what? Halal. The other one is give tayyib from your wealth, that which is good. Like if you're giving, because oftentimes people will give livestock, right? Or they would give grains. And that's what the second part, what we've brought forth from the earth. Don't pick the worst quality. Right? That's why when you do your udhiyah, you can't slaughter a sick sheep. You're like, oh, this one is already sick, so let me at least cut my losses, right? And let me just sacrifice the one that's sick because no one's going to buy it. Or, so there's shurut. You can't, of what kind of lamb or goat or you can sacrifice. If you're giving grains in your zakah, because there's zakah on grains. If you're giving grains, you don't give, let me get the worst ones. These aren't going to sell anyways. Nobody's going to buy it. I'm probably going to, sell them for a very cheap price. So let me give these in my zakah. Allah says, don't, right? Don't give the worst of your wealth. So it could refer halal. It could also refer to the quality. We also have to be aware the Prophet ﷺ forbade taking the best of people's wealth in zakah. وَإِيَّاكَ وَكَرَائِمُ أَمْوَالِهِمْ. When he sent Mu'adh ibn Jabal to Yemen to give da'wah to the people of Yemen who were Christians, al-Khattab, and he said, and be cautious, do not take the best of their wealth. So when zakah collectors collect zakah, they can't take we're collecting grains. I want the highest grade grain that you have. And I'm collecting, livestock, zakah, because it's zakah on livestock. I want the best sheep and goats and cows and camels that I want the nicest, the youngest, perfect, fur, whatever, right? You can't do that. So you don't take the worst, because the ayah forbids, and the Prophet ﷺ forbade taking the best. You take that which is moderate, reasonably fair, and that's what you take as part of the zakah. And so the believers are forbidden from giving the worst of their wealth in their zakah. And their sadaqah as well. This doesn't refer to amount, although it can be an indirect reference, because you give a small amount, that's still halal and good wealth. So it's not referring to amount. So when we say good, it's not meaning abundant, it's meaning pure, halal. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تَيَمَّمُوا الْخَبِيثَ مِنْهُ تُنْفِقُونَ. And do not intend the impure of it, spending it, وَلَسْتُمْ بِآخِذِيهِ, and you would not take it, إِلَّا أَن تُغْمِضُوا فِيهِ, and you would never take it yourselves, save that you close your eye on it. Right? You would never take it like تُغْمِضُوا فِيهِ, like you would only take it with your eyes closed. Like you would never take it willingly. Right? You would never take that type of wealth willingly. You wouldn't take a sick sheep. Right? You wouldn't cook it and eat it. So why would you sacrifice that as your udhiyah or your qurbani, right? You wouldn't take bad grains and feed your family that, right? Knowingly, willingly. So why would you go and give that in your sadaqah for the sake of Allah Ta'ala, right? You wouldn't feed your children haram money, right? Why would you take the haram and then, let me just give the haram, fi sabilillah, inshallah, forgive my sins. Right? It doesn't work that way. So this parable is made. Why would you give wealth that you yourself wouldn't take, except like if your eyes were closed and you were blindfolded, right? وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ. Know that Allah is self-sufficient. Allah does not need your wealth, right? Your sadaqah is for your benefit, literally for your benefit in this world. Because whatever sadaqah we give, its benefit returns back to us. We build masajid, who prays in masajid? We do. We build schools, who prays in schools? Our kids, our relatives, our community does. So literally, our sadaqahs go back to us, even the poor. Because when you feed the poor and they're satisfied, there's stability in society. Right? So people, we have to think, right? Like taking care of the less fortunate is in the well-being of the entire society. You don't want to have a great disparity between people, because that creates all types of social problems, right? So you're the benefits of your sadaqah in this world. And of course in the akhirah. You're the benefits of the recipients of your sadaqah. Also, you benefit from your sadaqah spiritually because it treats your greed. Right? So it improves your character. Your character gets better. You become less selfish, less self-centered when you give abundantly. So, Wallahu ghaniyun. Allah is self-sufficient. Allah does not need your sadaqah for you to give in such a inappropriate manner. Wallahu inna Allah wa'lamu anna Allah ghaniyun hamid. Know that Allah is ghani, He is self-sufficient, and He's hamid. He's the praised one, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hamid means the praised one. And so He's always praised. And Allah is always praised, and regardless of what we do. Right? Regardless of what we do. Our worship is for our benefit. We don't benefit Allah ta'ala in any way or form. Rather, it is us who are the recipients of our devotion and the benefactors from our devotion.